can you tell when a stock that's been languishing for ages is finally ready to make a sustained comeback? That's the question we need to ask about FireEye, the cybersecurity company with the best forensics division in the industry. They don't just protect you from hackers. When you do get hacked, they help you figure out who did it. At this time last year, FireEye was surging to a multi-year high of $20 and change, but it didn't last. Come December, the stock finally got dragged down with the rest of the market. Then for most of the year, it kept drifting lower, eventually bottoming in the low teens a few months ago. However, since then, FireEye seems to have gotten its groove back. It's up nearly 31% since its August lows. The company held a bullish analyst meeting roughly a month ago, then reported a solid quarter last week. What's really fueling this run, though, is speculation that FireEye might be willing to put part or all of its business up for sale. So can we trust this move? Every time FireEye's gotten some momentum, people, it feels like something's going wrong, and investors have been burned. And maybe this time will be different. Let's take a close look with Kevin Mandia. He's the CEO of FireEye to learn more about what his company's doing and where it's headed. Mr. Mandia, welcome back to Mad Money.
Jim, great to be back on.
All right, so Kevin, you did a terrific Trendscape report, your inaugural one.
Right.
Give us a sense of some of the insights that you discovered about companies and their cybersecurity protection.
Yeah, well, this report was a little bit different than what we normally do. Normally, we write a report called M-Trends, which is about what are we witnessing on the front lines responding to breaches. And it's kind of our lessons learned, helping companies dig themselves out of some kind of security incident. What this report is we went out and polled over 800 folks, and it was really our way of, we know a lot about what's going on in the places where we respond to breaches, but we wanted to go global and get a feel when folks aren't under duress. What are you worried about? What are the things you're going to spend money on? What are you going to invest in? What matters most to you? And we did that. And really, when I looked at it, I'm not convinced I got surprised by anything, but it was just another data point to better understand our customers and to better understand the cybersecurity landscape.
All right, now, Kevin, there's a sense among, I think, a lot of consumers, and just I'm not talking about consumers, companies, that, you know what, I'm going to be protected no matter what. There's someone looking out for me. If someone steals money,
right,
I'm going to be protected. Will there come a day where someone is going to have a serious breach and the company's just going to tell you, sorry, you're out of luck. You didn't read the fine print.
Right. Well, I think, first off, those things may have already happened, Jim. The reality is, and I went right to the banking community, when you have somebody's account get hijacked and transfers happen. Most of the financial services, especially in the United States and Europe, have done a great job of backstopping all their technical safeguards with sometimes manual checks. Is this really Bob doing the wire transfer, or somebody hijacking his private bank account based on a user ID and passphrase? So we've gotten a lot better at that problem. And the good news is most consumers, they can't lose $150,000 to $500,000 because they just didn't have that much in their account, and the financial services can make that account whole. It becomes more of an issue when a company account or corporate account gets hijacked and some kind of unlawful transfer occurs, and sometimes it's hard to claw back that money. And we learned that with the Bank of Bangladesh when $81 million was transferred via SWIFT. Is my understanding they couldn't find all that money. I mean, a lot of that money was in fact lost.
All right, so Kevin, I have not seen, right about, knock wood, I've not seen the giant headlines about some huge retailer that's been hacked lately. This used to be a matter of for me. You were involved in a lot of forensics. Are they gotten better? Have they gotten hushed up? What are you seeing?
Well, so a lot of folks are getting better at it. One of the things when you deal with CEOs after they have a breach, one of the first things they'll tell you is, we can't go through that again. That can't happen again. And what do we have to do about it? So a lot of folks that have already taken the walk down the victory lane, victim lane, I mean, they've learned their lessons, and you do a lot of tweaks to their program. What we've just seen, Jim, is a shift. You're reading about these ransomware attacks, ways for the criminal element to just encrypt drives and hold your data ransom until you pay for it. And that happened to some state government agencies. And criminals will always go after that low-hanging fruit and make money where they can, and they just can do that with these ransomware attacks. But we're still as busy as ever responding to breaches. We're responding to more this year than last year. But the good news is these aren't headline breaches. You can get in there and respond and contain before you have a breach of consequence where you have to go public about it.
Okay, now, Kevin, we have pretty much talked to all of the cybersecurity companies, and we spent some time with Symantec, spent some time with Palo Alto. Really, we've looked at a lot of the email companies, and we spent time with Zscaler.
Right.
I think all these companies want your business, Kevin. They all seem to want your business. Is that one of the reasons why their stock's been flat? I mean, the competition, they'll mention you offline. They'll say, yeah, we're taking this from FireEye. I mean, who knows what they're really doing, but has it gotten too crowded?
Well, first off, there's thousands and thousands of security companies, and at some point I think you'll see a normalization. One of the things that's unique to FireEye is we really know what the security community needs to build to defend folks. Because of that frontline experience, Jim, we get to see when technology is thwarted, how attackers are circumventing our common safeguards and winning when they win. And that for the top 1% of the offense, you know, I call it the red teams from Russia, Iran, or China, or North Korea. They do win when they put their minds to it today. But I think we can turn that over time. But we're all, you know, going out doing different things. Zscaler's a different form factor than the on-prem traditional firewall companies. FireEye's heritage was an appliance company. We're going through that transition, like several other companies, of a historical origin of appliance with our IP embedded into hardware and building software and bringing it to the cloud. So there's a lot of companies in flux, but you got to safeguard your customers where they're at, and that's the race that we're in.
You've been steadfast in not willing to address the question about breaking up or selling, merging with someone. I mean, but why does it keep coming up? Is it because the stock's been flatlining since you've been here, or is it just because everyone says ultimately it has to happen?
You know, I don't know where the rumors come from. Here's the reality. I wake up every day, Jim, and go into work to build the company to last. When you look at my whole career, I've been in cybersecurity since 1993. This is what I do. It's what I love doing. It's what the people of FireEye love doing. So we know what we want to do next and after that, and we know what the market needs, and we're just waking up every day looking to execute on that plan.
All right, last question, 2020 election.
Sure.
We know that you mentioned some countries that, geez, there are a lot of people who like to influence our elections, and they're probably going to be much more clever than 2016. Who's ready? Who's going to, I mean, are you involved? Are they calling you in? Because 2016 was a wake-up call.
Yeah, no, I think we're ready. I mean, I feel confident. There's a lot of different ways to hack the election, and I'll put that in quotes. The way that I'm most worried about is the influence operations to just change the hearts and minds of the American citizens that are going to the polls to vote. That is a tough thing to prevent. There's anonymity on the internet, and people can start Facebook walls or communicate behind this veil of anonymity, and you don't know if it's an element from another nation just trying to sway the 5% to the right or the 5% to the left. But when it comes to hacking the polls, I just don't think that's going to happen. I think in a direct attack on any of the systems, whether successful or not, the evidence is going to be there. It's not going to be tolerated very well by our government. And I just think all the vendors are coming together with government agencies to safeguard the elections. So I feel pretty confident. We're going to do a lot of work between now and then. I'm not worried about the vote count. I'm more worried about those influence operations that you don't even know they're happening to you. And I'm worried about what can you trust as news, you know, that fake wave document that's really, you know, sounds like someone, but it isn't, or that fake video that looks like something occurred, but it didn't. As we get more AI-based stuff, I think there are nations or elements that would be more willing to use that kind of fake creations than most countries would be willing to accept.
I'm glad you're bringing it to our attention. I think a lot of people, I don't want to say they're gullible, but this stuff seems so real that anyone could be confused. Wanted to thank you also, Kevin, for your service. We're going out to the Air Force Academy on Friday and to salute more people like you. So thank you so much. That's Kevin Mandia, the CEO of FireEye. Mad Money's back after the break.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.